Welcome back to Library Trust YouTube channel. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this stylish cape collar. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. To make this cape, I'm working with my basic bodies. I have my front and back drafted. So this is the front bodies and this is the back bodies. The front bodies, the neckline I'm working with is the normal neckline of 3 inches by 3 inches for the front, and then I'm working with 3 inches by 1 inch for the back neckline. So now I have a fresh paper underneath this now, and then this paper is folded into 2 as we have seen. So on this fold point here where I have it folded, I'm going to be placing my front and back bodies so that I can trace them out. So I need more space because the cape is longer in the front. I need more space for the front. That's why you see me placing the bolt above the back. So I'm placing the front neckline like this now, and then I'm also placing the back neckline like this. So I'm making sure that the center front of my front now is meeting the fold point here, and also the center front of my back is meeting the fold point. So once I have this, I'm going to take my marker and then I'll trace out my neckline. You can hold it with a tape so that it can stay in place for you, but I'm just holding this with my hand. So I'm tracing out exactly what I have there on the front and the back. Okay. So after tracing it out, here where I have it joining each other, that's the shoulder point, I'm going to indicate it also. And now I remove my patterns. So this is what I have. You may want to use your curved ruler to just smoothen it out so that you can have something really smooth, because I just used my free hand to trace this. So I'm going in with my curved ruler to smoothen out what I have there. Okay, so you can see it now, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the back also. So I'll see where I can have it together and then smoothing it out. Okay, so this is what my neckline looks like. So after tracing it out, because I want this to show on the other side also, I'll bring in my tracing wheel and then I'm going to trace this out. So once you use your tracing wheel to trace it, what you have here, the tracing wheel is going to perforate the paper for you so that you will see this exact shape also on the other side when you open it out. So after tracing it now, I'm going to open it, and then clearly you can see your dotted lines to know where you have the other side. So now again, using my curve, I'm going to draw out the other neckline also, and then make sure that it is as smooth as possible. Okay, so this is the front, this is the center front, and this is the center back, and this is the shoulder for the two sides where the front and back meet. So now the next thing now is to draft out our cape. Okay, so following the shape that we have on the cape, you can see that at the center front area, the cape bends like this in a slanting way towards the other side. So the same thing is what I'm going to do here. I'm just taking my curve, my straight ruler now, and then I'm placing it like this. It doesn't have to be straight, it depends on the style that you want to go for. So now just to put like a measurement to this, you need to note the length that you want for this. So for this now, the cape stops around the under bust or bust point area. So for me, the under bust area is around 12 inches, but I don't want it to get up to that, so I'm just stopping it at 11 inches. So I have my shoulder point here as a reference point, so I'm just placing my tape here, and then I have 12 inches here. I'm just going to note that. So this is where my 12 inches stops. So now if I slant my ruler from that 12 inches mark from your center front, you can just go outwards by around 5 to 6 inches. Okay, so I'm doing 5.5 inches on that point on the 12 inches mark, then I have that point. So from that point now, I'm going to connect it to my Okay, so I went inwards here by 6.5 inches. My camera stopped recording. So from the center front here, I went inwards by 6.5 inches because I want it really slanted. Then I connected from that point to my center front, as you can see here. So now the next thing now is to start to create our cape. So the first thing you need to do is to decide the width of your cape. That's how wide you want your cape to be. It can be 2 inches, can be 3 inches, can be 4. I don't want it too wide, so I'm just going to go with 3.5 inches. So I'm going to start measuring that from here. Now on the shoulder part where they join, I measure 3.5 inches, and then I have it here. So now following my neckline, I'll keep measuring the 3.5 inches like this, and then here I want it a bit wide, so I'm just going to increase my measurement to around 4 inches, and then from there you start narrowing it down to 3 inches, and then all the way. But my curve is going to help to create that shape for me. So this curved side of my shape, I'm just going to place it like this now, and then try to connect it with the dots that I already have here. So you can see that it's taking like 3 or 4 dots for me, so that's fine. From here I'm just going to connect it and shape it to the hem to have that V pointed shape that I have there. So after having that, now using this curve again, I'm going to try to look for a way to match all these points together now, and then I'm going to start connecting it. You can also use your free hand if you want, but I just want it neat, so I'm trying to get my curve to do this for me. So now after marking it on the neckline area for the center back also, I'm repeating the same measurements of 3.5 inches. So now following this neckline, I'll measure 3.5 inches all around, and then I'm going to connect it to what I have in front. So on the other side of the back neckline again, I'm measuring the 3.5 inches. So you can see me measuring this all around my neckline, 3.5 inches, and then up to this point where we have it. So on this point here, the cape can be joined together if that is what you want, but for me I'm going to be separating it. So I'll just leave like a tiny line in between now, and then I'm going to use that to separate this. So I'm stopping my measurements here. So after doing this, now the next thing is to start connecting all of these dots together. Like I said, you can use your free hand if the lines are really, if the dots are close to each other, so to make it easier for you to connect them. So now from here now, I'm just trying to connect my dots, and then also I'm going to connect the one I have on the back, just like this. Okay, so now once you have this, now I'm just going to redraw this. Like I said, I don't want them joined together, so I just want to redraw this so that it will be obvious that it is separate. So here now I would not this as my center front and my center back, and my cape is ready. So the next thing now is for me to cut out this exact shape that I have here for my cape. So using my paper scissors, I'm going to go ahead now and cut out this shape. Okay, so I've cut it up to this point. Now I'm just going to open this part now so that I can cut out my neckline. So after cutting out my neckline, this is what I have. I'm going to bring in the fabric that I'm working with, and then I'm going to cut two of these, one for my main fabric and one for the lining. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut it on my fabric. You can see that I just placed my pattern on it, and then I cut out exactly the shape that I have there on my fabric. So now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and then sew round it like this, leaving just the neckline, because I'm still going to turn it with my lining if I'm placing it on my fabric. But the beauty of this is that it can even work as a detachable collar also. You just make sure you turn it neatly in a way that all these rough edges is not going to show. So I'll take this to the sewing machine now, and then I'm going to sew all these hem parts that is going to show, and then I'll bring it back to show us what we'll have. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew it round now. The next thing is to notch it where necessary, and then through this neckline I'm going to turn it out and iron it. So now you can also add interfacing to this if your fabric is not so strong, or if you want the collar to be stiff. So I'll turn this out now to the right side, and then I'm going to give it a good press. Okay, so it is turned now and I've ironed it. You can see how flat it's looking. So now all you just need to do now is to sew this round your neckline, and then turn it out with your lining if you are fixing it to a dress. But if you are not fixing it to a garment, you can just use your bias to turn it. You can even extend the rope of the bias so that you can tie it in front. Just beautify it anyhow you want, but this can also work for you as a detachable collar. So now I'll take this to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the collar looks like on the mannequin. You can see how slanted the front part is. You can design it anyhow you want. You can follow any pattern that you desire. You don't have to follow this exact pattern. I hope you enjoyed making this tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.